Hi guys, and welcome to a new update of the Artist Way project. Today is update for day number 17. So that's the beginning of week 3. So this morning I did my morning pages, and I actually wrote a bit more. I actually wrote 6 pages instead of 3. Kind of to catch up with the days that I missed before, if that counts. So that I can say for week 3 I didn't miss any day so far. And of course, because it's week 3, I had to read the chapter. So the chapter is called, I have it here, it's called Recovering a Sense of Power. And I didn't really know exactly what I mean about that. But I figured out when I read it, of course. So first we have hunger. So my thought about this part, this part was good, actually. So it's a very tiny part about hunger. I think it deserves more. And I never actually consider that kind of statement as hungry. Like you have example here, it say, I can't believe it. I had this idea for a play 3 years ago and now she's done and written it. Or, blast him, I could make a better film than that. And for me, I never considered that was anger. I consider more like jealousy. Like someone do something and you think you can do better, or someone gets something and you think you can like have better, or you want the same thing. I never actually consider that there is much power into that. I mean, I don't think the statement have a lot of power for, and I don't think there are angry statements that much, because I feel it's more like jealousy. It's like, for example, there's a pianist who plays very well and I wish I could play like that guy. And yeah, if I practice for 10 years or 20 years, I might be able to do it. But it's like, in the spur of the moment, I mean, for me right now, writing my books, like finishing to publish my novel, is way more important than playing the piano. So even if I would love to be able to do that, it doesn't mean that I have to jump and work on it. And if you really consider it, like how many times a day you have, like, I'm in the doll community, and I know that, well, I see people with brand new doll, and I'm like, oh, I would love to have that doll. But it doesn't mean I have to go and buy it straight away. I mean, it's an expensive purchase and it needs to be considered. And it's exactly the same thing with the statement in the book. It's like, they are time-consuming purchase, basically. You're going to have to work to be able to do that. And it's not because suddenly you have an idea, suddenly you realize that something happened because someone else is doing it, that you have to do it. And that's my problem about this little part, is like, I mean, maybe because I only see it as jealousy and not anger. Maybe if it was making me angry, I would feel like more compelled into doing it. But technically, I don't feel that every time I have that kind of thought, it's something I need to act upon because it's something like it's my destiny or whatever. I think it needs to be acknowledged that there is a lack somewhere about something that you want to do or want to be. But you also have to consider that, especially if it comes to you in so many variety, if it comes to you about so many things, you have to consider which one is actually worth your time or not. So that's my thought about the anger part. Then you have the part about synchronicity. So I agree with, like, the synchronicity part was good, except for that big, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, I mean 5, 6 paragraphs about what you owe God to do whatever you're supposed to do. And that, like, when I, like, that's the beginning of the synchronicity part. And when I read that, I was like, seriously? Like, it says, it's my experience that we're much more afraid that there might be a God than we are that there might not be. And I'm like, when I first read that sentence, I was like, what does that even has to do in the book? Like, what is that? What is the concept of is there a God or is there not a God? Are we afraid of God or are we afraid that there is not a God, that we are all alone? I don't see what it has to do with synchronicity. And the thing is, this paragraph is actually, like those paragraphs that continue for a bit, is actually kind of telling you that since if you believe that there is no God, then everything is useless. That nothing has purpose. And I mean, even if there is no God, like, the meaning of life is not an esoteric concept. Like, I was watching this video by Leo from Actualize.com, and it's about meaning of life. And actually, it was like a revelation. So, the meaning of life, the meaning of what you're doing, is not a concept of generalization of the meaning of what life is in general for everyone. The meaning of what you're doing is the meaning for you. For example, if you take my glasses, okay, what's the meaning of glasses? Glasses, if you give a definition, glasses is a tool that you put on your face to be able to see something when you cannot see, right? Right now, if I don't wear my glasses, I don't see myself making this video to you, basically. But if I give you my glasses, they might or might not work for you. They are my glasses, they work for me. So the meaning of my glasses basically is to allow me to see through them. And the thing is, that's the meaning of my glasses for me. It doesn't mean the same thing for you. If my husband is wearing my glasses, he don't see anything because he needs much stronger glasses. If someone who don't need glasses wear my glasses, I'm not gonna see anything because they don't need glasses. And when she said that if you don't believe there is a God, if we believe that God doesn't exist, we are afraid because it means nothing has any meaning. But meaning is relative. For someone who, like in Leo's video from Actualize.com, the example was a banana, and he said, what is a banana? For me, banana is a delicious fruit. I'll eat it anytime. I have a friend who is allergic to banana. He's never gonna eat banana. So for him, the meaning is totally different. So the meaning of life for you, the meaning of what you're creating, the meaning of whatever you're doing, the meaning of the object in your life, the meaning of everything around you, is actually based on you. It's not some esoteric concept that needs to be applied for everyone. The meaning of life is not something that you apply to everyone, and that's not something that needs a God to exist. The meaning of life is just right here, right now. What does this mean to you? So when she came and said, like, we are more afraid that there is no God and there might be one, or whatever, how she formulated that. In my experience, we are more afraid that there might be a God than there might not be. So if there is no God, nothing has meaning, and we're not too afraid of that. Because, well, if nothing has meaning, we can do whatever, which is true. And we have, like, because we don't take any responsibility. But at the same time, like the nihilist point of view, you get miserable. You don't have to do anything, but you don't get the joy out of doing and creating things either. But on the other side, if there is a God, and you believe that you need the God to have meaning, you're never gonna find the meaning, because the meaning is not some generalized sense of meaning of life. It's what it is for you at the present moment. So I got to, like, first, the way it's written, it's like sort of half Christian, half pagan gibberish things. I think because they say God, you can take it as whatever you want, but at the same time, the author put their own belief in here, and they actually try at the same time not to put belief. It reads very frustrating because it's not telling me, okay, it's a Christian thing, so you take the Christian point of view and you go through that. It doesn't tell me it's a pagan thing, you take the pagan vision and you go with that. No, it's some kind of ambiguous statements so that you can take it as whatever you like and it make it completely unclear. So the thing is, if there is no divine retribution, you can do whatever. And that's another concept, like people who believe that atheists don't have morals. Morals doesn't need a God. Doing the right thing has nothing to do with God. You can see religious people doing bad things all the time. Point proven, right? So, divine retribution or not, the retribution is for you. You have the consequences of your action yourself. End of the story. So, and like, I really didn't know what the hell was going on here, like in this chapter about that whole thing. And like, it say you're going to receive gifts from the universe, like ask and you shall receive, like Jesus good. And yes, that's true. Like beginners, like things are going to be put into action. But as I say, is it the universe who's giving you that, or if it's you creating your own environment to go in that direction? I do believe in the universe. Like the universe is going to help you. I believe in it more in the way it's described in The Alchemist. I'm reading it again for buddy read with a friend, so I'm going to have a review of it soon. But like, I believe that more than all this gibberish in this book that kind of doesn't tell you. It's like, it can be whatever you like, but it's going to help you. No, I'm sorry, no, it cannot be whatever I like. Because there are still rules, otherwise there wouldn't be any religion. Like, technically, if like, maybe you can give it whatever name you want or anything, but there is still rules. You need to set the motion. You need to go somewhere and take steps towards something else, and you need to be reactive. And what I don't like in this story is the passivity. It's like telling you, oh, if you're going to be helped, and the thing is, unless you work, you won't be helped. And that's one of the big problems that I have with this book. It's like kind of telling you, you're gonna have a helping hand, but first it forget to tell you, first you gotta do the work. And the thing is, destiny is never going to take your life. Destiny is never going to start running your life. You have to take action first. And you are the one who decide what you do with your life right now. If you're not happy with it, you are the one who need to do the changes. And maybe there's going to be a door open for you to do the change. Whether you see it or not, it's your own problem. But who created that door? I don't know, the universe. Or maybe it was because, well, it was cold today and you close the door and you're locked in. I don't know. See, my point is, when I reached that part, I was a bit frustrated with all the God thing. And the last point that frustrated me is like, it sort of tell you, you have a duty to do whatever you want to do, whatever you want to create. You have a duty to be more creative because God. And because you need to repay God for giving you that gift. of creativity. You need to use it as a repayment of God. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't owe to use whatever gift you have to God, to your parents, to your siblings, to the dog's neighbor, to anyone, to your teacher. You don't owe it to use your gift to anyone. You don't know it to use your knowledge to anyone. Because you can do something doesn't mean you have to do it for anyone, including God. If you do it, it's because it has to be for yourself. And I don't care if it sounds selfish, but the thing is, there are 100 millions of people out there who are not using their gift, because I say gift because I also don't believe in gifts, so I know I'm special. Maybe I should have a complete video about that someday. But you don't owe anyone anything, including God. And I know that's a strange concept for a lot of people. But technically, that's true. The only person who you actually owe to be more creative for is yourself. And basically, if you are taking this course, it's because you're blocked. Because a lot of shitty people have been telling you shitty stuff for the majority of your life you've been going through. All of it. And God was not there to help, He didn't stop them, right? So why do you owe to, like, you had that gift and people broke it down and you're doing the work to try and salvage what's salvageable, and suddenly you have to do whatever for God? Really? Are you sure? Where was He when people were bullying you? Nowhere. Oh yeah, He was there. He gave the book, right? God, oh, see? I'm so... Maybe that's the anger coming up again, right? I don't know. But I do believe in synchronicity. I believe that if you set things in motion, you're going to have outcomes coming to you. And if you are around people who are more alike and that kind of stuff, of course, it's going to amplify. Like, I don't believe in luck. You're not, like, my mother always said about my brother, he's not lucky. You're so lucky. Your brother is not lucky. And I'm like, I'm not lucky. I work for what I got. I didn't drop out of university twice. I didn't pretend my exams were changed. I didn't pretend to change the time of my exams. I just went to the exam and passed my test. I did the work. It's not called luck, it's called showing up when you have to and do what you have to do. So, yeah. That would be my synchronicity. You set the thing in motion. You help yourself as much as you can. And help is coming for you. Because you talk to so many people, because you network, because you actually do the work and put the word on the page and write that novel, people are gonna wanna read it. It's just that's how it works. But it has nothing to do with it. I mean, if you, the thing is, so the point, the most, the things that look at you right in the face when someone say helping hand and blah blah blah, God and blah blah blah. The thing is, do nothing, nothing happens. Do something, something happens. So what is it helping you? Is it you doing something or is it you doing nothing? So yeah, I had this little trouble about chapter 3. Then when it continues about synchronicity, it's kind of okay. It's kind of, yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, and then we arrive at the chapter about shame, and this one is also pretty good. Like, people shaming you, especially if you have been raised in a Christian household or Catholic household, that kind of thing. You always have fear and shame as a tool to make you behave. And I'm reading this website. I'm gonna put the link of everything that I talk about down below, that way you can see what I'm talking about. I was reading this website which is called Witch. So basically I already did all the work about shame, because there are these articles that explain to you how shame is taking your power away, and how you need to accept your dark side, basically your darkness. Um, and so that point was really good, because they kind of talk about the same thing. Um, so basically, even if someone tries to shame you into not doing something, like, okay, another book example, in Stephen King, Carrie? No, not Carrie. Charlie, the fire starter. Charlie? I think it's called Fire. Like the name of the girl is Charlie. And there is this explanation, like the parents shame the little girl into not using her fire, just like parents shame kids into not peeing their pants so that they like go to the toilet for potty training, right? And in the book, like, they try to break that shame pattern, and basically that's sort of what I use to break my own shame pattern. Like, when I look at something like my parents or teacher would actually try to shame me about, to make me behave in a certain way, I acknowledge those memories and try to reverse it to remove the shame. So I think that's a good way of doing it, but it's not present in this book. They talk to you about shame, they talk to you about, then it's dealing with criticism. But criticism doesn't have to be shameful. Even if it's bad criticism, and that's the point where I actually kind of slipped a little bit again away from this chapter, because yeah, some people are gonna tell you crazy shit about your thing. They're gonna be very negative. And they're gonna tell you something that's not true. And probably you're gonna take it at heart and it's gonna hurt you, and then you're gonna stop doing stuff. So there is a plan in the book to how to deal with that, which is pretty good. But for me, shame was not really, like, the most important shame you have to deal with is not the criticism you're going to have in the future, or the criticism that come once. For me, the shame that you have to deal with is the shame that has been implanted in you for years and years. It's in your upbringing. It's what actually transforms you into an adult to have this particular way of behaving. For example, drinking in a bottle, from a bottle. You can drink from a bottle in different particular way. And my mother have this thing that if you don't drink in the same way she does, you don't know how to drink, basically. And so when I was a kid, I was experimenting how to do it without having this red thing around my lips that she would make me fun of me after that. And I was thinking, okay, so if I do it and have the red thing, I'm doing it properly, and she doesn't, but she make fun of me for that. But then afterward, if I do it differently and I don't have the red thing, she's making fun of me because I don't know how to do it, and I shouldn't even drink from a bottle and go get a glass and whatever. So it's those kind of very ingrained inside of you, the things that make you behave until now. And now every time I see someone drink in a bottle in a different way, I always feel like something's wrong, that something is amiss. And it's all those kind of things you have to deconstruct and reconstruct. So I started experimenting again, drinking with a bottle in a different way. And actually I figured out that I like to have a straw in my bottle, so I put a straw there and use a straw. I know people who, like, I was accused of being posh for using a straw by a friend, which I totally disregarded. I'm like, whatever you say, I don't care, you know, it's like, why? And see, it's all those kind of little things that it's not bringing you down about your heart, but it's bringing you down about everything you have in life, basically. It's not only artist related, it's more about everything around you. So if you have, like, if your parents told you little thing like that, like very tiny little thing that don't actually matter, who cares if I drink one way or the other in the bottle, or from a bottle, right? And it's the same for a lot of little things, like if you fold your towel in a way or another. And I used to have these very rigid views about how to fold clothes, until I realized it has to do, you don't fold it the same way if you put it in a suitcase, if you put it in a bag, if you put it in your cupboard or anywhere, in your drawers. So it doesn't matter. And you probably have been shamed for a lot of things, especially if you come from Christian background, because you have so many rules, and a lot of them are just bullshit, I'm telling you. So yeah, so that was about the shame part. So if you read the dealing with criticism, it's good for the now criticism, like every criticism that's going to come to you that you have trouble dealing with, a negative review on your novel, for example. Then you have this detective work and exercise, and basically this is the part where I agree. The thing is, it doesn't make you go and look for the bad, it makes you go and look for the good. And if you want to deal with the shame, you have to go and look for the bad. You have to go and look for the little tiny things that don't really matter that you were ashamed for. Going for what was your favorite toy, what was your favorite game is a good thing. And it might actually bring up the child from you, but yeah, it's not going to help you deal with shame. So I'm going to leave the link in the further article about shame below. And the thing is, you have to do the work of, if you feel ashamed of something, you need to do the work and figure out why you're ashamed, and is there a good reason you're ashamed, and deconstruct it all one by one, every single thing you're ashamed. So yeah, basically I guess that's all for chapter 3. Then there is a part on growth, and it's saying you need to practice being kind to yourself and that kind of thing. So growth can be scary, but I think you got that covered because you're already doing the book, so I guess. Anyway, so that's my update about chapter 3. So from tomorrow I'm going to start doing the exercise in there. And what I find really strange in those exercises is that none of them is going to tackle your anger. None of them, like, some of them are probably going to attract synchronicity, but none of them are going to work on your anger, and none of them is going to work on your shame. And unless you get rid of that shame, it's going to be difficult to actually get rid of the anger, and it's also going to be difficult to move forward. So I don't know, guys. Just try and have a look with that and have fun, and we'll see what happens in chapter 4. Chapter 4 is called Recovering a Sense of Integrity. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave me your comment below, tell me what you think, and give me a thumb up, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I always appreciate that. So have fun whatever you're reading. Bye!